Hey, Cougar fans, welcome back to another Coaches Weekly with head men's basketball coach Steve Kohler. Coach, you've had a nice break since your last game against Marion back on the 11th. You lost that game 72-70, but you've had some time now to regroup, get back into the gym and practice. What is that off time between games like as a coach in order to get your team back going and refocus their season?
Yeah, it's been good. We haven't, you had as much time as you would think, just because of finals being this week, and then we didn't have access to a facility from Wednesday on. But our Monday, Tuesday was really good. They were two of our better practices. To our guys, credit, we're really digging in and watching film, and we're just really pointing out the things that that are hurting ourselves, and we have to, in order for us to take that next step. We got to realize we got to stop doing those things, just some of those careless turnovers. And Marion did a great job, but the way we started that game, on the road, it's just, we have to get off to a better start than that.
In that game against Marion, you were down by 13 at one point in the early goings of the first half, and you were able to climb back and get a 1 point lead going into halftime. And in that back and forth affair, those games really shape your team, especially because of the fact that you're going back and forth. What have you seen from the guys after the first game of the season where they competed against Colorado College and it came down to the wire as well? In another game like this against Marion, has there been any growth in the mindset of the players being experienced to another game like that?
Yeah, there's definitely been growth. We continue to have some of those breakdowns, untimely breakdowns. Defensively, I think we're pretty tough. But we're having just some untimely breakdowns where we're late on a rotation or our communication isn't where it needs to be. And we're giving up some big shots, like Marion hit two huge shots. But we're getting closer. When we were watching film, we were telling the guys offensively, like, all right, before we would be talking about 8 different times that we didn't execute, which you can't be very effective when you're doing that. But now it's 1 to 2. Right. And so it's definitely getting better. We're making them aware of it. They know what needs to be changed. And now it's just kind of taking, responsibility and actually, outside of knowing what needs to be done, now it's going and getting it done.
And one thing you got done in that game against Marion was out rebounding the Sabres 38-22. You as well set a new season high in offensive rebounds with 18. What is it in those games that you like when you control the physical side of the game? How does that play into the effect of the outcome?
Yeah, well, we talk all the time. We shared this each week. It's winning the glass and taking care of the basketball. I mean, you win the glass by 16, you shouldn't lose. And if we won the turnover battle, we would have won that game. We just had too many turnovers and at unfortunate times, and we didn't make the plays that we needed to make to be able to overcome those. So it always just comes down to, rebounding the offensive glass is just something that we pride ourselves on doing. And so we're starting to do that at a higher level. Our guys realize how important it is. And especially when you have to make up for those possessions that you're giving away with those turnovers, or if you're not shooting the ball really well. So that's just becoming something that we do, right? We've got to win the glass. We've got to get our second chances. And guys have done a really good job of buying into that. Now we got to clean up some other things in terms of execution when things are there, and value in the basketball.
Well, a big addition that you guys had in that last game was Jordan Matthews. After missing the game against Concordia, Wisconsin, he came back against Marion and had 22 points, a new season high, as well as 3 steals. And as well, on top of that, Landon Gladney had 10 points coming off of the bench. To have those guys back in your lineup and that senior leadership, how does that play in the effect of the game, especially for a team looking for momentum?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anytime you're out 2 to 3 starters, that's tough. That changes you. Now that gives other guys opportunities, like that CUW game. But with J-Rock playing the way he's playing now, he's kind of gotten to a groove. And I think he was like 8 of 11, if I'm not mistaken, like super efficient. When he's able to do those things and play efficiently and be able to find other guys. And then not only Landon, but I thought both of Landon and Tab, both of our bigs were really, really good against Marion. They made some great moves down there. They were really patient. But we need that, we need those guys to step up, and we need guys to do a little bit more within their roles. And that's going to help us be the team that we need to be. But it's great to have some of your top guys playing at a high level.
And one of the consistent guys that's been throughout your team, even through all the highs and lows with guys missing games and coming back from injury or the flu, has been Isaac Rudell. He started all your games this season, and last season he started 15 of your 16. In that game against Marion, he had 10 points, the other scoring Cougar that scored in double digits. What is it like as a coach to have a guy like Isaac who is able to consistently be in the games, will give you 20 plus minutes and serve a variety of roles? Because we've seen him shoot the three, be the assist master, as well as taking it inside and scoring the points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just so consistent, outside of the stats that you guys know, we keep a couple other ones as well. We say share the sugar. And he led us with share the sugar with 7, and that's assists or hockey assists. And then the other one that we keep is, our play chart. So all the hustle plays. Well, he had 16, so, I mean, he led us in both of those charts for us. So he's just so consistent. I think that he was worrying a little bit too much about knocking down his shots. And we just talked about, we're like, hey man, don't worry about that small percentage of the game. That's going to come. Just get to the rim, get to the free throw line, get on the floor, keep doing what you're doing in every other area, and the shots are going to fall. And then the second half, they really started to. And our guys were aware too. Matthews comes to me, he's like, coach, we got to get him going. Like, he'll get going. He'll be fine. He does so many other things that it can't be predicated on how he's shooting the ball, and you mentioned that he's just so consistent.
You also mentioned the fact that you have those like sacrifice stats, and the ones that might not be showing up in the box score, but matter to you. Why is it important for you to keep track of those stats throughout the season?
Yeah, it just goes with our culture, of being selfless. I mean, it's the selflessness and sacrifice chart. And it's a huge indicator of how hard we're playing, how active we are. I think I shared this before, when we get over 50, more times than not, we're winning. And if we get less than that, we probably did not win that. And then the other one is kills that goes with that. So 3 consecutive stops in a row. We have a goal of 7+ on that. But it's basically pointing to something that everybody can be really good at, right? And it has nothing to do with, did you knock down shots? Like, did we win all the 50-50s? Did we have 30+ deflections? And did we take teams out of their comfort zone and doing what they want to do? Were we battling on the glass? Did we win the hustle game? And ultimately, we control that. And that's something that we really pride ourselves on. And like I said, that's kind of become a magic number for us. And it's a goal. And if we can get to it, more times than not, we come out on top.
Well, the one thing that we've noticed throughout the season so far has been 3-point shooting has played a big role in the outcome of the game. In your 2 wins this year, you've outshot your opponents from behind the arc. And the losses this year have come when your opponent has outshot you. And especially coming into the game Saturday against Benedictine, who is second in the conference in 3-point shooting. What is the game plan in order to control the 3-point arc?
Well, for us, I'll hit on first, we've got good shooters. We talked about when you're not making shots, what do? You go get in the gym. So we've challenged our guys to go get, 600 makes in each week. And also, I feel like we're passing up too many good ones and we're playing up against the clock a little bit too much. Not too many times you guys hear like, you need to shoot it more, but I think we are. I think we're getting into the paint. And we're spraying it out. And sometimes we pass up really good ones for some reason. And then now we're having to take ones up against the clock. So when you take tougher shots, they're harder to make. And that's going to lower your percentage. And then honestly, I feel like that lowers your confidence as well. Cause you're like, man, we're shooting 25%. We're shooting 30%. Well, if we get good shots, we love what we have. Our guys are going to knock those down. And we fully believe that. And then Benedictine, they're just surrounded with shooters. They're shooting the ball extremely well. They've got veteran guard play. They're really good with their inside out game as well. So we've got a couple things that we're going to do to try and contain that a little bit. But I really feel like we have to take them out of their comfort zone and not let them be comfortable, because if you're just catch and shoot threes, they're very dangerous. But it's a little bit different when you've got a hand in your face and you're having to put it on the floor, and those aren't rhythm threes. And those are the ones that we're going to try to make them take.
And the game plan for Saturday, the Benedictine is currently 4-5. They also are tied for second in the conference with a 3-1 record. What else is going to factor into Saturday's game?
Yeah, I think their record at 4-5 is really deceiving. They've played nationally ranked teams. They played a bunch of CCIW teams, and those have all been close and opportunities to win them. And we know that they're one of the best teams in the league. They are year in, year out. They're coached extremely well. So it's going to be, we're going to have to play well. We are going to have to maximize every possession. And if we can continue to guard the way we're guarding, and if we can win the glass and compete at a really high level on the glass, and we can take care of the basketball, we love our chances. Last year was a little bit different with COVID. We were pretty ravaged by that when we played them with 9 guys. But you still have to compete. But, the 2 times we played them before, we played at a really high level. We beat them when they were nationally ranked. And then when we went over to their place, we had a chance to win towards the end. So with the exception, which I know you can't just take those away, but with the exception of last year, we've played extremely well against them. I know our guys are excited. I know our guys are excited about our growth that we've shown in our practices in the last two days, basically. And we couldn't be looking forward to the opportunity anymore.
Well, the Cougars are on the road again this Saturday as they take on Benedictine Eagles at 4:15. You can follow along for in-game coverage at CUC_men's hoops for in-game updates on Twitter, or you could go to cucougars.com for the entire game day coverage. It's been another episode of Coaches Weekly with head men's basketball coach Steve Kohler. I'm Carter Gledhill. Go Cougars. We'll see you next week.